The most common questions from a judge.
Once the project is done and the backboard is made, it is time for the judging to begin. Here is a list of the most common questions asked by judges. At the end there are examples of good and bad responses. There are many common questions and, the more you have thought about them, the better your interview experience will be. Now answer the following questions.
Where did you get this idea?
How did you come up with the idea for this project?
How did you come up with this title?
How long did it take you to build the prototype?
How much time, or many days, did it take to run the experiments, grow the plants or collect each data point?
When did you start this project? Or how much of the work did you do this year?
How does your project work?
What research did you do?
Were there any books that helped you do your analysis?
Who helped you?
What was your hypothesis?
What were your independent and dependent variables?
What was your control?
What did you measure and how?
How did you calculate that result?
Why did you think that would happen?
Why did you choose that amount, or measurement, or piece of equipment, etc.?
How variable were your results and what might explain the variability?
What does that graph tell you?
What did you base that conclusion on?
Why are your findings important?
Can you explain to me how your project relates to some scientific principle?
How many times did you run the experiment with a different set of parameters?
How did you replicate the experiment?
Did you try something else that didn't work?
If you had to do it all over again, is there anything you would do differently?
What was the hardest part, or most fun, or most exciting, or most surprising, etc.?
What is the next experiment to do if you want to continue this study?
Who might want to know this information?
Do you think there is an application in industry for this knowledge, technique?
Now let's check some sample questions and answers.
1. Where did you get this idea?
This is a good question because more and more students are not learning how to design their own projects. With the plethora of websites for project ideas, many kids simply get a detailed procedure from a website and follow the directions like a recipe in a cookbook. Although these projects should get full academic credit, they typically will not win the contest because they lack creativity.
Good answer. Even if you got the idea from a website or book, highlight all the creative aspects of the project's development. Describe changes you made and what makes your project unique.
Bad answer. My friend did it last year and won.
2. What would you do differently next time?
This type of question evaluates your knowledge of experimental design and ability to solve problems.
Good answer. Recognize that all projects have limitations and you could always have done better if you had more time, more resources, and/or better equipment. In addition, most experiments would benefit from more application.
Bad answer. Nothing. Everything is okay. 3. What would you do next?
With this type of question, the judge is evaluating your intellectual curiosity and knowledge of the scientific process.
Good answer. Realize all science is built on existing science and propose the next logical experiment. Look at the results you obtained and think about new questions. Perhaps you would measure a different, but related dependent variable or evaluate a new independent variable.
Bad answer. Nothing. It's not required next year.
4. Who helped you?
This one sounds like a trick question because you were supposed to do your own project, right? Keep in mind that no scientist works in isolation, and even if they did, we wouldn't know about them because they wouldn't communicate their results.
Good answer. Acknowledge your teachers, mentors, experts, parents, friends, and anyone else that gave you advice, equipment, or assistance, including helping find the idea to practicing for your interview.
Bad answer. My mom finished my backboard while I did my history report.
5. Are your findings significant?
This one is a trick question. In everyday language, people use significant to mean meaningful or substantial, but to a scientist the term significant specifically means you conducted a statistical evaluation of your data and found mathematical support for or against your hypothesis. Unless you can explain underlying assumptions, type I and type 2 errors, and p-values, you should not use the term significant. The judge is testing your knowledge of this term. But if the judge asks, are your findings important? Then they want to know if you can link your project results to the bigger picture, because scientists are generally not as good as they should be at communicating the importance of their work.
Good answer. Identify the groups of people, farmers, engineers, managers, lawmakers, etc., that might benefit from whatever question you try to answer, and describe why they might need to know this information.
Bad answer. Yes, they are significant, or no, they are not significant.
That's it for this lesson. See you in our next Hands on the English Flipped Classroom session.